Hi, today I'm here with Dr. Marisa Porges, former Obama White House strategist and naval flight officer, and now head of the Baldwin School, an all-girls school, and author of What Girls Need, How to Raise Bold, Courageous, and Resilient Women. Do you have a book near you?
I do. Oh my goodness, I don't. Oh, here it is.
Okay.
The author always has to have her book
There
with
you
her.
go.
So here's the book. Find it on Amazon or indie bookstores or wherever you buy your books.
Excellent. Okay, so how are your girls from your school doing as you anticipate the fall back to school?
Yeah, I think it's a hard time for all of us, right? There's the uncertainty about what's to come. There's nervousness of going back to school, whether they're starting a new school or starting 6th grade or 9th grade, whatever it is, there's that anticipation. And then there's just this sense that no matter what it is, it's going to feel different. Our girls started coming back to campus just this week. And, sort of pre-orientation, getting the lay of the land. And some of them, their eyes were just wide in amazement to see campus has been restructured. Now the desks are 6 feet apart. Their favorite teachers are wearing masks. There's new rules about entrance and exits and temperature checks and hand washing. The funniest story was one of our young girls, we've reallocated bathrooms to make sure the girls, can socially distance and sort of have assigned bathrooms for each grade. And one of our grades now uses one of the men's rooms. We're an all-girls school. So we have extra boys bathrooms for the girls. And so our 5th graders were in there and they saw urinals and they literally fell on the floor laughing. So that was the highlight, right? But there's also these moments where they're just really uncertain. And so this is the time where as parents and teachers, we really have to reaffirm that school will still be fun. They're still going to get to be with each other, whether they're on person or virtual, they'll still get to connect. And also that this isn't forever. Because one thing I think it's hard for kids to remember right now is there will be an end to this, right? It will look different next year in some way, but this version of life under a pandemic won't be forever. And so I think that's one thing that's helpful for them to hear that, we got to do it this way for now. We're going to make it through together. And then we'll be back to some version of normal, soon enough.
Do you think some of the kids are going to struggle with just going from this, not total seclusion, but really removed from in-person socializing to like all day being?
So I actually think they're going to thrive in that. I mean, I think for kids.
Let's start out by saying your school is going back there. You're starting in person.
Yes, so we are. So we have a plan underway that we will be open to all of our students every day, even as some of our girls' students will be learning from home because of personal or medical or other health conditions that necessitate that they be remote. We're in an unusual position. I'm leading a small school, and so we've been able to space kids out and do certain things to help make sure that we keep them and our teachers safe. But I think the socialization aspect is the thing that will come easiest, right? They miss being with each other, even if they're not going to be able to see each other smile. That the presence amongst each other, the presence with their teachers, that's part of what school's all about, right? I think the thing that will be most difficult is really a lot of the new protocols and procedures, but even that, I mean, the girls pick up things up quickly. We've looked at reports and research done at schools overseas who've already reopened, and they get used to wearing masks. They get used to walking in a different entrance or exit or having to do temperature checks or whatever those things may be. I think they will really enjoy this moment of not having to connect with each other via Zoom or virtually or those other ways. So.
Okay, so I want to just put out there for all of you that are still learning virtually, hopefully in the very near future, you'll be having the same conversation.
Exactly. Well, and I think there's ways that we really need to be thinking about how we can build those in, even for students who are fully virtual or in some hybrid version for their schools, right? These are the moments when, even as we're thinking about what the kids are, how they're getting math class and how they're learning English, we also need to think about, well, what do we do for our students, particularly for our daughters, our girls, who need the in-person connections? It's not enough for them to learn how to build relationships via Snapchat or Instagram, right? That can't replace how they navigate relationship building in person. So maybe it's a Saturday morning, you go meet a friend at the park who you feel comfortable with and you socially distance. Or maybe it's family members who you can FaceTime. And even if it's virtual, it's still live. It's not social media, which our girls default to too easily. And it doesn't nurture the empathetic skills they need, the communication skills that are really so important as they're getting through middle school and high school in particular.
And do you think that parents play a role, or are kids navigating this on their own and just let them be?
No, I think parents really need to take an active role, even when our girls resistant. And so this is where that balance, right? Particularly in middle school, our girls or teenagers want us to start backing off of it. And that's good. We need to let them test the waters, but we need to be an active presence to guide them, right? So it's the guiding ideas of, right, suggesting emphatically, but should we do social distance outside time, on Saturday or Sunday, right? But build it into the natural plan for your family, so that it becomes part of the routine. They may not realize how much they need it, particularly because, video technology and social media and online games are such a readily available source for them, but it's just not the same. And so I do think this is where parents really need to think about playing an active role in continuing into high school, figuring out what that looks like for our high school girls too.
Wow, it's so hard to picture. I mean, they're so pushing away, and then you're trying to pick your battles,
Yeah.
and it's a tough one.
Well, and this is where I think you sort of take your child's lead, right? And so, it's not all things at all times, but maybe there's, a favorite person that you think, hey, that's the thing, that's the person she misses, that it would be something she would respond well to if you suggested getting together. Or maybe it's a favorite activity that you can safely do with masks and social distance. Or maybe it's a family member, or maybe there's some other way to engage what you think, excites her most. Instead of letting our teenagers recede to the bedroom and to their phones, their iPhones, social media, and say that's that, because it's going to be too long, right? It's a full school year. We could be navigating this, and that's a long time to let that gap in their social emotional growth grow wider.
Dr. Marisa Porges, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to connecting with viewers. If you go to my website, Marisa Porges, MarisaPorges.com, there's actually resources there for parents navigating these challenges right now and figuring out, both through the book and other readings and other sort of things we can do for our girls, how the months ahead we can do our best for our kids.